But we need some jazz hands, people.
I'll do half a jazz hand.
Okay, here's what happened. I was sending out the tweets with one hand and on Facebook at the same time, and I was like, oh shoot, this is when I dance. So I'm like, hey everyone, you getting it? Okay, and I'm just sending out my last post on Facebook. Woo! Okay, now the world knows that we're online, and we're going to be looking at our event page in just
Hand
a
check.
second to look at the question. Yeah, hand check, everyone.
Begin.
All right, so everyone, welcome to another episode of this wonderful show, this wonderful creation that somehow formed by our community. The people who come every single week to watch this show is what makes it so great. So we first want to cheers to you. Everyone lift their glass.
Oh, I left my glasses on the table.
We'll have to get Sarah's alcohol.
I have to go get my drink.
Yes, you do.
Just so everyone who's watching at home, this episode is going to feature Sarah Carey. I don't know if you guys know Sarah, but she is the editor-in-chief of Everyday Food. Now, I am a huge fan of Everyday Food. I have, like, every single issue ever printed. Yes. In fact, I would be embarrassed if I just start showing you every single one.
No, don't be embarrassed.
You know, Sarah, welcome to our show. We're so happy to have you. Where are you calling in from, and what are you drinking?
I'm drinking sangria. Just a teeny tiny bit. I want to be on my best behavior. I'm calling in from our test kitchen at Everyday Food here on West 26th Street in Manhattan.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy that you're here. Is this your first Google Hangout?
It is.
Oh.
I'm a little disconcerted, I have to admit.
Oh, this is going to be really easy, we promise.
You're going to be a pro by the end of it.
Okay.
Everyone who's watching at home, remember that you can follow along the conversation. You can also tap into the conversation by using the hashtag Kitchen Party on Google+, or also on Twitter. We are following that conversation. Just an idea of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about summer parties, barbecuing. I'm sure, Jeff, you're probably very excited about that.
I have my moments of ecstasy, yes.
I'm definitely hearing your echo, so it's almost like it was like an ominous, like hello, I'm watching barbecue.
Luke, I am your grilling father.
I'm not sure if anyone else hears that, but I hear that, and it's pretty scary. Just to do some housekeeping, once again, we're following the conversation. Use the Kitchen Party hashtag. If we don't get to your question while the live show is happening, we do follow up later on. The show should last until about 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, so follow along. So I guess before we begin, guys, let's have Jeff and Renee introduce yourselves. Tell us where you guys are calling in from. Tell us what you're drinking, and maybe did something happen within the last week or anything that you want to chat about or anything new?
I'm Jeff Hauk. I'm the food writer for the Tampa Tribune and TBO.com. I am calling in from West Groveway Drive in sparkling Valrico, Florida. And tonight I'm drinking Saint Somewhere Paz de Soleil, which is made in Tarpon Springs, Florida. I have no idea. It sounds like I'm swimming upstream with salmon. Is everyone getting the echo too? I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is.
I am getting a little echo.
Anyway, it's been a great week because it's been extremely rainy, and you know, that's a good thing here because it's been a drought for a while. But we've got good things afoot food-wise in Tampa. All is well. We've got lots of great breweries and winemakers coming through town. So we're very happy during the summer because everybody comes to visit.
And I'm Renee Lynch. I'm a writer and editor at the LA Times. Are you hearing a little feedback from me too? Oh, sorry about that.
I feel like it's Melody. Melody, do you want to try to mute your mic?
Oh.
Hello.
Okay, try that again. I'm Renee Lynch with the LA Times. I work across a number of sections, including food and health, and I'm calling in from Long Beach, where the weather is just gorgeous today.
Awesome. So, Sarah, did you make the recipe for sangria?
It's a really, really simple. It's barely really a recipe. It's just some wine with some fresh fruit in it from the farmer's market. But I wouldn't even say it was a recipe, but it's pretty good. It's a little bit of red wine, some sliced up fruit. I don't even have any fruit in my glass. It's basically just the wine part.
I like how you just went like straight for the good stuff.
Yeah, don't bother with the fruit, right? I mean,
the fruit gets in the way. It's like the ottoman on the Dick Van Dyke Show. You know?
Like, really, why bother? Seriously.
The worst thing is when you're at a party and you're trying to drink it and like the fruit is kind of getting stuck and it just basically keeps hitting your face.
Yeah, it hits you in the face and then it falls out and then you have red wine all over your shirt and then you feel like you need to go home, but you don't want to go home because you're at your party. Don't drink sangria at parties. I think that's the moral of the story.
Well,
stop serving it.
To tell you guys what, I love sangria. I love white sangria.
Yeah, white sangria doesn't stain, so it's perfect.
Very true. I'm drinking, I got desperate this evening. I got from 3 Olives, I got some triple shot espresso vodka, and I've had it in my freezer for like forever, maybe like 2 or 3 years. It's been sitting there thinking one day I will drink this. I actually have tomato flavor too, and I'm like, I have no idea what to make with that. But I discovered that if I add it to coffee, it's delicious.
So wait, does that make it
like
quadruple?
Red Bull, right?
What'd you guys say?
Go on, Sarah.
Oh, I was going to say it's sort of like that Red Bull and vodka thing, except for it's actually coffee and coffee and vodka.
Exactly, but it is tasty. Renee, were you going to say something?
So it's like a quadruple espresso shot. You're just going to be like running around by the end of the show. Just
but
like...
also drunk.
That's true. I was thinking I'm going to be awake. I'll probably be awake at like 4 a.m. Everyone, you guys are all going to be sleeping like little angels. I'm going to be like, no, help me.
You're going to be awake until Labor Day. Are you kidding?
So just want to remind everyone, those of you who followed our link on Facebook, on Twitter, if you stumbled upon Kitchen Party and you're like, what is this thing? Real quick, Kitchen Party is a once-a-week show every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We bring some of the coolest people in food to come and talk to you, and you're part of the conversation. My name is Babette Pepe. I'm the founder of BakeSpace.com, and you can find us on Google Plus if you search for BakeSpace, or on Twitter, BakeSpace. You can send us a tweet. Also, if you want to participate in this conversation, please use the hashtag Kitchen Party, and we will be following that. Later on in the show, we'll be answering some questions. I know we already got some questions on the event page in, so I'm super, super excited. Sarah, I was going through your background, and I noticed some really cool stuff, like almost way back to the beginning.
to the inception of Sarah. I think I know where you're going with this. But just go ahead and say it.
Did I read correctly? Well, first of all, someone else has a Wikipedia page that is not you.
Is it the Irish folk singer?
Yeah, completely. And I was like, no way, this doesn't make sense.
Every time I Google myself, she comes up first. Not cool, by the way.
You know, we can Google bomb her, and we can we can take that
Get
your
her
name
off
over.
the top of the page. Yeah.
I'm gonna hyperlink your name on everything we've written about you so far
back
to whatever website you want, and we're gonna bring her down. But Wikipedia, it does have a good ISEO, so we may have trouble there.
I know. I mean, I don't have a Wikipedia page. That's probably my first problem.
Well, we'll have to work on that.
But you guys will take care of that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The first rule of Kitchen Party is you don't out SEO Kitchen Party.
Oh, don't worry. I don't think I could possibly out SEO Kitchen Party.
You guys are hysterical. So did you guys, Renee and Jeff, I know I sent you guys a little background. You guys have not met Sarah before, right?
No.
I haven't, but I'm dying for you to ask the question that I want you to ask. So are you going to ask it, or should I ask it?
Somebody ask, please.
Is it true that you were raised on a commune?
Yes. Oh, gosh. You know what? I did, and I have a cookbook that I could have brought with me. It's in my office. I totally forgot. In fact, I moved it aside to pick something else up. But, yes, I did. I grew up on a commune in Woodstock, New York, typical commune locale. We moved to Woodstock in 1969, and, I grew up on a commune. It was called the True Light Beavers. And we wrote a cookbook called Feast, a Tribal Cookbook by the True Light Beavers.
Wow.
Yes.
What was life growing up in a commune like? I mean, it's something that so few of us have experience with. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, people ask that a lot, and I have a little bit of a hard time. I mean, I could go into descriptions. I always feel like people are like, well, what was it like? Or did you like it? And the answer, of course, is I don't really know anything different. That's where I grew up. The commune was started by my father, his 2 brothers, and their wives, and my father. So it started off as more of like a just sort of extended family. We moved from New York City to New Hampshire, and we lived there for a year. And then I think that this is the story, and I'm not sure if it's really true, but they said that they were going to, they wanted to move to California. I really don't know if this is true. They wanted to move to California, and they bought a Volkswagen bus, and it broke down, and they couldn't go, so they moved to Woodstock. And then we were starting a school, a typical commune school run by the parents, and we were building these domes for the schools to be housed in, and all these people came to work on the domes, and a lot of those people ended up staying, and that's how the commune started. And, you know, it was just a typical family from the 70s, but, you know, much more extended, and everybody had to cook 1 night a week, and everybody had to clean up 1 night a week, and we had a big calendar that everybody would sign up on, and it was just very family-like. You know, it's not what you might think of as a commune. It wasn't like wild and crazy. I mean, there were things that some people would consider wild and crazy, but it wasn't like insane. You know, it wasn't like some communes I've heard of.
Tell us one wild and crazy thing before we fast forward to your culinary career.
How G-rated how R-rated is this Google Hangout?
Well, all 4 of us are drinking, so gauge it for yourself.
All right. Well, all right. I can say this because I feel like the statute of limitations has run out. My brother, when he was 13 years old, grew a huge pot, like a huge pot. Not a grove, but like a huge crop of pot, and then my parents took these pictures of him with all of his pot. I mean, I don't know, is that crazy?
That's crazy for most. That's it.
For a commune, that's like, that's what you do to get in.
Pot growing 13-year-olds, but mostly it was really just very, very family oriented. I felt like I always had someone around, an adult of some, you know, my parents are both artists. It was a very art-based commune. Everybody was really artistic. People taught, people cooked, people made macrame and did beading. It was very 1970s. I mean, you know. Maybe
it was a glaucoma commune. Maybe that's why he did it.
Yes, that is what it is. Thank you. That's exactly what it is.
I'm here to help. I am here for you, Sarah.
My brother grew pot. All right, fine. I never grew pot, not once.
Did you do a lot of cooking yourself? Did you participate in the once a week cooking?
You know, I was pretty young when the commune was in its fullest swing of full swinginess, without the swinging, of course. But I did participate. There was a lot of kitchen time. The kitchen was a real central meeting place for everybody, and people would go there and just be in the kitchen and be together while people were cooking. I was quite young during the height of it, so I didn't I didn't have to cook dinner for my whole family, but I helped and I learned a lot, and I was exposed to a lot of different kinds of food because everybody was coming from all over the place and brought their different likes and dislikes, and some people were vegetarians, so on the night they cooked, it would be like texturized vegetable protein balls or, you know, stuff like that. I don't have fond memories of necessarily, but definitely influenced the way that I thought about food in ways that I'm not sure everybody had that same experience, you know, because they were more focused and I had a much broader experience. So,
hey guys, just so you guys know, on Google Plus, I'm looking at the page right now. Erica, and then Erica, I always say your last name wrong. Caracas. I'm hoping that that's right. She wants to know if she's allowed to ask any Martha questions. We'll give a couple more drinks.
It depends on what they are.
I have this like girl crush on Martha. It's ridiculous. It's like an entrepreneur's crush on everything she's been able to build. And I saw one time a really cool documentary where they were going around, she was showing swatches and stuff, and I was like, I want an office like that. For some reason, I adore her. Danielle Nichols from Peaceful Cooking is also on. Lisa Perel. Kim Pebley says, hello, am I the only one here? And then Nicole Harris says, no, I'm here standing by. Allie Ward is also, she's Diapers and Heels, is tuned in. Natasha Johnson also says that she's here. What's up? Carlos Carlos Diaz is also tuned in. I do that.
I like how you go to falsetto whenever you're being like warm and congenial. It's like, hello, how are you? And here's the news tonight. What's
up? Little like, and for some reason, everyone has like their own dialect of some sort. Like it could be, you know, something like McGinty, and I'll be like, oh, it's Sean McGinty is calling in. It's really ridiculous. For those of you, once again, on Google Plus, if you want to leave a question on our event page, please feel free to. We're also going to be going to our Twitter handle. I saw a whole bunch of our locals, our regulars are on Twitter tweeting that. We'll at the next break, we will pay them homage. So basically, obviously, you know, your background in food in terms of where you came from, the family and the cooking and the community, you really had, you know, lots of folks. Like for me, my family cooking was like my mom would go into the refrigerator, whatever was left over, she'd bring it out, and I'd basically eat it in front of the TV. Your experience seems.
We didn't even have a TV.
Yeah, exactly.
So
was that strange? Was it cool? Like when you look back now, are you glad that was how, like, your dinner table is a real community experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, people talk, especially these days, people are like bringing back the family meal and talking about how important it is for people to eat together and for families to be at the table at night and talk about their day and stuff. And that was just something that was a daily experience. My family happened to be 20 people instead of 4 or 5 people, but that just made it all the better. I mean, you have the experiences brought together at the table every night, and they're shared experiences, and it was part of my upbringing, my DNA. You know, I didn't really know any different, and I think that it really did form how I feel about food, the passion that I have for it, and the love that I have for it. And, you know, I pretty much eat everything, and I feel like maybe that's why, you know, I had to eat all of these different things all the time, good or bad. But it was such a great, loving experience, just a very, very expanded version of what I think most people are talking about today. Like, sit down with your family, sit down with your children, talk about their day, ask them how it was, and don't turn on the TV while you're eating. I don't let my kids eat with the TV on. I mean, once in a while, but really mostly no.
Sarah, I'm interested in how you transitioned from into the food world. Tell us a little bit about that.
How I transitioned from commune to food.
Right.
Oh, I mean, that's actually a good question, because when I went to college, I studied photography. I went to the School of Visual Arts, and I studied photography, and, you know, my parents were both artists, and it sort of seemed like the natural fit for me. And but I found that while I was in college, instead of going to art museums or looking at art books, I was reading MFK Fisher, you know, or, you know, just Barbara Kafka, essays from Gourmet, and
Sure.
all of the magazines that I got were food magazines, and I realized, like, I actually love food, maybe a little more than photography, and I just decided I wanted to go to culinary school. And when I graduated, my advisor said to me, "So, what are you gonna do, Sarah?" And I was like, "I am going to culinary school." And I waitressed for 5 years to save money to go to culinary school. And I cooked, and I ate, and I read about food, and I was just so passionate and excited by food in a way that, as much as I loved photography, and I love art still, and I now, you know, I do work with photographers all the time. It's a perfect coming together of my two passions. But I knew it was the right thing for me. And I went to culinary school, and I through a series of really fortuitous events, I ended up getting a job working for Barbara Kafka as her recipe tester. And I never really looked back. I mean, it's kind of incredible.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, because, you know, coming from a photographic background instead of a pure food background, I'm wondering how that influenced how you approached food once you finally got there. It had to be a very visually sensual kind of approach.
Yeah, you know, I have a very, I started off working, when I came to Martha, I started working on her television show, creating recipes for her to produce, for her to present on the show. And that was a great experience. And it wasn't very much about, like, the beauty of the food. It was about the way that it tasted. And, you know, I'm very much into, does the recipe work? Does it taste delicious? But you have to always consider, when you're working on a magazine, which is what I've been doing for the past, since 2004, almost 10 years, 9 years, it has to also look appealing, because the first thing that people see is they're going to see the picture of the magazine. They're going to see the food, and is it beautiful, and is it enticing? And I think that my art background definitely helped me in a way. I have a really strong visual aesthetic, but I still do come at it more from a, is it delicious and does the recipe work? And hopefully, is it really simple and easy to prepare, especially now that I'm at Everyday Food.
Sure.
Do you find one of the questions that we often get on Kitchen Party is trying to figure out the challenge of photographing food that may be unappealing, like brown foods or meats, or do you have any tips or tricks for food bloggers who are struggling with those kinds of issues? How do you deal with that?
You know, I think that's a really funny question, because I know a lot of, it's not a funny question, and I understand why people would ask that, but what I believe is that all food is essentially beautiful, and you just have to find the most beautiful way to take a picture of it. A bowl of stew is not as intrinsically obviously beautiful as maybe a plate of beautifully sliced tomatoes or a gorgeous peach, for instance, but they all do have their beauty, and also they're yummy, right? So people respond to them in ways that they might not respond to. Like a bowl of macaroni and cheese isn't the most beautiful thing, but if you put it on the cover of your magazine, people are going to buy it because they love that and they respond to it in an emotional way. And I think that that's something that people have to remember when they're doing blogs, and a lot of comfort food or things that people really love don't necessarily shoot beautifully, but just look at it from that place of love and not be like, oh, this is brown food, but like, you know, maybe a little bit of backlight that makes, if it's a stew or something and there's moisture around it, it makes it sort of glisten a little bit on the top so that there are highlights and it doesn't just look like a pile of dog food. But I think that it's more about, this is going to sound kind of hippie-ish, but like coming to each thing from a place of love and knowing that, you know, it's got something going for it.
That's the commune talking.
Well, that doesn't sound hippie at all.
No, I mean, not at all. No, but I mean, I do think that everything is, they all have their things that are beautiful. And also you have to think about, like, if it's a stew, is there something fresh that you can put onto it? Is it, you know, do you want to put some chopped fresh parsley on it? Do you want to include something in the beginning of the recipe that you can use later that will make it beautiful? Do you want to cut your vegetables a particular way? I once made a beef stew recipe. It was a beef and Guinness stew recipe, and I was concerned that it was brown and we were going to put it into the magazine, and I served it with fresh julienne carrot sort of sprinkled on top and a little bit of horseradish, and it just sort of brought it to life. It added a layer of texture, so there was a reason for it, but it also made it look more beautiful. You have to think about those things when we're developing recipes for magazines. We think about that from the very beginning of the recipe. What's it going to look like when we take a picture of it?
Wow, so that's part of the conversation from the start, like right from the get-go. It's not just enough to say we're going to make a stew, but it has to be, what is it going to look like and how is that going to show up?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to focus on that solely because, like I was saying earlier, I really believe that delicious food is the most important thing, but we always, we do, you know, as we're developing recipes for the magazine, we take pictures of them. I'll ask my editors to show them to me and see what they look like and discuss how we might shoot them or what the best way is. Do we want to shoot, like, maybe it's something that needs to be shot individually instead of in a big pot, or you know, we do take it into consideration. I try not to let it, you won't ever hear coming out of my mouth like it's not what it tastes like as long as it looks good. You know, I truly believe that it's mostly about what it tastes like, and let's figure out a way to make it look good.
Hey, we got some questions from Twitter, just so you guys know. I want to also just give a shout out, woo, Mitch Jenkins, who's here every single week. Girl, we love you. Jody Fritch, also here every week. We adore you. Mama Caruso, what's up, girl? What's up? Mama Caruso and I had a couple of emails last night, so I want to make sure her back is covered. And she has a question, which I think is a great transition into, I would love to know what a typical day is like in the life of Sarah Carey.
Okay. I get up at 6:15 and have a really big cup of really, really strong coffee. I brew it in a Melita, French roast or some kind of like espresso, something super duper strong, like an entire grinder full for 4 cups. That's the one thing you should know. Then I cook dinner for my kids and put it in the fridge so that they can eat it later, because I tend to get home a little bit late and don't always have time to cook or eat dinner with them. So I'll make something for them for dinner and put it in the fridge. And then I go to the gym. usually to a
I
spinning
was thinking
class
we're
or
so
something.
much alike until you said you go to the gym.
I never used to have, I mean, listen, I've always worked out, but I never really had to work out, and I feel like now I just really have to work out. I eat so much during the day, and people are constantly bringing me food to taste, and I need it. I need it to keep my energy up, and quite honestly, I need it to keep my weight in check.
So we are alike. We are alike.
Yeah. So I go to the gym and I work out, and then I come to work and I get here around 9:30, and if I'm shooting, which I shoot once a week, I shoot my videos, then I'll just go into hair and makeup, and then I just start shooting my videos, and I do that all day. Otherwise, I'll spend my day half at the desk, half in the kitchen, tasting food, talking to the editors who are working on stuff, and or actually in the kitchen myself cooking. I still love to develop recipes and create stuff for the magazine, and for the videos. So I come into the kitchen. I try at least once a week.
What's the best thing that you've tasted lately?
The best thing? Oh, God. Well, this isn't really a recipe, and the video hasn't aired yet, but I'll share it with you guys anyway. It's a baguette with, it's not really a recipe. And I probably shouldn't be saying this because it's completely like not what we normally do. But okay, it's a baguette with marshmallow fluff and Nutella and crumbled graham crackers, and then you heat it up in the oven and you eat it for dessert. Though there was a big debate when we were making it yesterday about whether it was actually a dessert or not. I think it's a dessert. Everybody else thought it was a snack.
I think
did your brother develop this one? Because
my brother.
Because it sounds very similar to his agricultural efforts. Because that would be awesome stoner food.
Yeah, my brother doesn't even smoke pot anymore. I mean, that was 30 years ago.
I'm sorry. That's the last time I'll call back to it, I promise.
No, it's okay. Please, just keep going back. Just bring it around. Yeah, so that wasn't really a recipe.
Hey, look, the bear's angry. Let's poke the bear.
You guys had me at marshmallow fluff.
Sarah, I want that recipe. Oh my God, that sounds so good.
I just gave you the recipe. That's the recipe. That's the amazing thing about it. It's so delicious. It's so messy. There's going to be a video on it in a couple weeks, but I don't really think you need the video.
That sounds awesome.
But we do so much great stuff. I try to make sure that everything is super seasonal, and I like to go to the farmer's market and just bring back a bunch of stuff and look at it and say, what can I cook today, you know? The other day I did that, and I came back with sugar snap peas, yellow summer squash, and a piece of, the salmon I got someplace else, wild salmon. I made a one-pot sugar snap pea, yellow summer squash, and then salmon on top, and I sort of steamed it, and it was really good.
Well, that sounds good.
Hey guys,
it may be a recipe soon.
Hey, on Google Plus, I just want to put out the word. Nicole Harris says that sounds so good she now wants to join a commune. Nicole, if you do that, you got to send us pictures. I don't
know if I recommend it, but it wasn't bad.
Jeremy Pepper also just tuned in. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, Jeremy.
We Are Not Martha also said, finally my first kitchen party, and it's a good one. Yay!
Oh.
And then Christina P says, what kind of rings, Sarah, were when cooking? Now, I think it's a typo there. It's missing something. So if you can ask that question again.
Is she concerned about my rings? Some people don't like it when I wear my rings when I'm cooking.
Maybe.
They feel like that it's like the germs or something going on.
Do you get that? Do you get feedback from the?
Sometimes on YouTube, people will comment things like that, like, "Oh, Sarah, you should take your rings off when you're touching chicken," or something like that. And I understand that. People take it very seriously, but I mean. Does everybody take their rings off when they cook? I don't know. I wash my hands really well, and I clean my rings, so I feel like it's pretty sanitary. Maybe I'm wrong.
Then also Natasha Johnson said, I take horrible food photos. It can be the best tasting dish, but the pictures I do not want to eat. And then Jeremy Pepper also says, I was an original subscriber to Everyday Food and have all of the issues. Me too, Jeremy. I don't know, Jeremy, if you saw, I was actually posting all of our pictures too.
Love our Everyday Food.
You should. Jeremy, tweet out a picture with the hashtag of your collection.
Yes.
We want to see that for sure. All the issues, and ain't happy about it. It stopped. He's not happy that it stopped printing. Since I'm not getting Martha, where can I get the special issues?
Well, the special issues are usually available for sale on newsstand. That's where the special. Is he talking about the special issues? Oh, is he talking about these? The little everyday foods that go out with Martha Stewart Living?
Oh,
You can get
maybe.
them. Yeah, no, that's actually a really great question. I'm happy he asked because you can get them on iTunes. If you have an iPad, you can get them. It's a free subscription, so you can get these for free. Or on our website, on marthastewart.com, you can download basically a PDF. So those are two different ways that you can get them, and they're free, and it's the same content as the magazine that goes with Martha Stewart. So
Cool.
I think it's really, really good. And the iPad app, you know, it's iPad, which is my favorite form of magazine.
So on Google Plus, Antonia Kidd also just checked in, and Danielle Nichols with Peaceful Cooking says, "Oh my God, I love this woman. Sarah, you are so real." Chef Kevin Penner also tuned in. What's up, guys? If you're watching on YouTube, Google Plus, Twitter, wherever we posted the link, use the hashtag Kitchen Party on either Twitter or Google Plus, and we will find your post. If we don't find it, it means that I'm an idiot, but I will look for it. I promise. I promise. If we don't get to it today, we will get to it later. So, so how did you make the transition to Martha Stewart Living? How did that opportunity come about? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was working. It was very, very simple. Like I mentioned earlier, I was working for Barbara Kafka. I was developing recipes and testing recipes for her cookbook, Soup: A Way of Life, and at the end of it, you know, she was an amazing, amazing teacher and a great woman. And she said to me, you know, I don't usually keep assistants for longer than, and I'm the kind of person that stays places forever. And she said to me after 3 years, she was like, "You've learned everything that I have to teach you. You should move on." And her assistant, who had been her assistant prior to my being there, worked at Martha. She worked at the magazine. And she put me in contact with her, and they put me in contact with the people at TV, and that was it. I mean, that was 14 years ago. I've been here a long time.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Now, is the PBS show, is that no longer on the air?
Yeah, that's not on anymore. You know, we're still in talks. They still love the show, and we've actually been talking to them recently about the potential for doing it again. But we haven't done a new season for that since, I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe. And they were re-airing some of them for a while, but it hasn't been on for a while. I missed that show. I loved doing that show, and people loved having it on PBS. So hopefully.
How do you decide which topics to pick for your weekly video segments?
Well, you know, it's interesting because they used to be sort of random, and then we started doing theme weeks. And now what we like to do is talk with our web team about the themes that they're doing on the greater website and try to sort of integrate what their themes are with our themes so that they sort of get more play and sort of are more well meshed with what they're talking about on the website. So if it's August, for instance, and you know, everybody's talking about zucchini, maybe we'll do a produce week. Or we, you know, once in a while we have a sponsor and we work with them to come up with a theme that's appropriate for what they want. But mostly it's like, it's spring, we want to do spring produce, so we do a spring produce week, or our new issue is coming out and we want to highlight the recipes from the issue, so we do an issue week, or, you know, I mean, it's sort of just like what we think would be useful for our viewers that week. Mostly focused, I mean, just across the board on quick, easy, fresh, healthy dinners that people can make with supermarket ingredients across the board.
Sure.
And then,
Sure.
you know, we further refine the themes. You know, I like seasonal, so we do a lot of stuff that has to do with the season. We've done a ton of grilling in the past month, so much grilling that I want to, you know, say no more grill.
I think that's a great segue.
Exactly.
So what do you got? What are the tips that the novice barbecuer, novice grill master, if somebody is this is the summer that they're going to make it happen.
They're going to make a grill happen. Well, I would say don't think that everything needs to be on high. You should actually maybe look up the different ways that things should be cooked. But for instance, like, here's just like a rule of thumb. Things that are very thin, like a chicken cutlet or a thin pork chop or something like that, can be cooked over direct high heat all the way through. things that are thicker or have more bone in them, like a chicken or ribs or something, should be cooked over indirect heat. And indirect heat means that one side of your grill is heated with coals, or with, if you're using a gas grill, with gas, and the other side is not heated, and you put the thing over that side and then you cover it up. So that's indirect and direct heat. Those are like the two, it's like almost the main thing that you need to know about grilling, is whether or not you should grill on direct or indirect. And then in a more refined way, if you're grilling on direct, should it be on super hot? Like, we recommend cooking steaks on a really pretty high heat, unless they're very, very thick, like a porterhouse. But like any steak, like a skirt steak or a sirloin or a flank steak, should be cooked on a really high heat, because you want to get a really, really nice sear, but you don't want the inside to get brown and like gray by the time it's really nicely seared. So do that on a really high heat. Chicken breast, same thing. But like eggplant, for instance, takes a little bit longer to cook. You want to make sure it cooks all the way through before it burns, maybe a medium heat. So sort of pay attention to the texture of the food that you're cooking. It's sort of a, you kind of can't know until you do it, but I would say like the denser things obviously on a medium, low heat, things like steak or chicken breast on a high heat, and things with bones on an indirect heat.
What are some of your favorite things to grill, and what are some of the things that have been in the magazine of late about grilling?
Oh, well,
what's on trend for us now?
What's that?
What's on trend for us now?
What's on trend? I personally love to grill fruit. I think that people don't grill enough fruit. I love peaches and apricots and pineapple and things like that, because I like to eat fruit with my grilled food. I like it a fruit and savory together, which is not something that everybody loves. This issue that we did, our July-August issue, which you can get for free, as I mentioned, has a kebab guide. This is one other thing I have to say about grilling. I believe strongly now that kebabs should only be one single thing as opposed to multiples of things, because they don't cook at the same time. So if I'm making kebabs...
Thank you.
Oh, you agree?
That's really interesting.
So much.
I can't tell you how much food I've lost between grace because I've tried to grill the meat and then the grilled pepper gets nuts, and then it's so frustrating.
It's frustrating. They're not the same shape. They don't sit on the grill in the same way, so they don't cook evenly. Your meat might be done, but your onions are underdone. So we have a really, really good kebab guide in the July-August issue, where we give times for like a ton of different vegetables, a lot of different kinds of meat, and give great pairings of marinades and glazes and cooking times and suggestions, but basically like lay it all out for people so that they really have a better understanding of what can go together and what shouldn't go together. My vote is keep everything separate and then put them all onto a beautiful platter at the end, and then everything will be cooked exactly right.
You know, one of the recipes I saw on your site that I've been grilling for a while, and so you're always looking for new things, because I'm bored. I've only just cooked half a cow. I need a bigger challenge, And I saw the something that I would never have thought of, and I don't know why, because it's kind of a natural thing, is the grilled cheese wheel, where you take a wheel of brie, and then you put the little toast points on the grill as well to char those a little bit.
Yes.
And I can't imagine a better flavor for that, because I love brie and I love camembert and all that. Making it nice and running it smoky. Those are like my
gosh,
favorite
it
things.
Was amazing. That was from Martha Stewart. I remember that recipe, and it is so good. One of the things that we grilled, which I feel like people don't grill that much, and you're saying toast points brings this up, are bread cubes.
Right.
We skewered bread cubes on a kebab, and then they're like the most delicious crostini cubes, and you serve those with your grilled meats, and really delicious.
That sounds
you're making me so hungry.
I do have to say that my new favorite thing is the cover of our July issue is a chimichurri burger. Basically, it's a burger, but you like slather it with chimichurri sauce, which I think goes amazingly on pretty much everything. So I highly recommend just like whipping up a batch of chimichurri sauce, and don't just save it for the steak, but put it on your hamburgers too.
That sounds awesome. Hey guys, I want to remind folks who are watching at home, you can call into our hotline. Now remember, this is not like a radio show where we put you on hold and then we bring you on. You call and then you're live. And we're still making this work. So bear with us. So if you guys want to call in, if you do area code 310-601-4017, we will put you on live. Real quick, I just want to say, Carlos Diaz said on Google Plus, he said, "Hi Sarah, I'm from Colombia, 19, and I love you. It's because of you that I'm addicted to cooking. I baked my first cupcakes for my brother's birthday, and they were awesome. Thank you, hugs."
Oh my God, I love that. That's like the best thing to hear. There's nothing that I love more than hearing from the people that watch my videos or that get the magazine that they cook because of my magazine or our magazine or because of me, because I feel like that's when you know that you're really reaching people, right? They engendering a love of cooking at that level is like I couldn't think of anything better. Seriously, it's like kills me.
I don't know what thank you hugs are, but they sound delicious.
They're the best kind of hugs.
I also want to give you a shout out from Mitch Jenkins. She writes a blog you might want to check out, The Daily Waffle, and she says she has been following you from way back when, and she's tuning in today, and she's really happy you're here.
All right, I will check it out for sure.
She posted a great, the Daily Waffle. If you check it out on Instagram, she has a whole rack of nothing but everyday food.
Oh, really?
Issues on her shelf.
I've never seen it. Daily Waffle. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, you'll enjoy that. It's a lot of fun.
All right.
Oh, we have Jody Fritch says we, and I mean Doug. Oh God, how am I gonna say Doug's last name? Doug Lascino on Twitter. What? Lascino?
Iacino.
Doug. Oh, it's an I. Okay, I thought that was an L. Doug Iacino makes the best grilled Caesar salad ever. Oh my God, a grilled Caesar salad.
So you grill the romaine. We've done that too. Grilled lettuce. Yeah, and then grilled croutons, I guess.
Not like medium rare, Babette. You can close your mouth. You actually just kind of char it a little, drag it across
Yeah.
Hey, Kim Pebley on Twitter just said she's at GFK. Or GF Kim AZ says, "Note to self: never attend another kitchen party when hungry or without a cocktail." Exactly. I love without a cocktail. That's like our
most important thing. Let's get your priorities straight.
Next time when we have you on, Sarah, we're going to make a cocktail together.
Okay, I would love that. I thought we were going to
to
do that tonight, but that just didn't happen, did it? I totally want to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We should just have you on for a cocktail show.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Well, I'll bring, maybe I can bring my cocktail expert, Jessie Demick. She makes the best cocktails. She creates most of the cocktails for, she's my culinary producer for the videos, but she also makes a lot of the cocktails for the show. Well, I am not the cocktail expert, but I'm happy to do it with you.
in symbiotic nature, I do a cocktail and a spirits and a beer blog and column for the Tribune, so we'll have to all coordinate and put it in the paper.
Right, Jeff. Then you should bring the cocktail recipes, and I will make them for you.
I am a professional drinker. I'm not a mixologist.
Okay, what about grilling desserts? Because for me, it's like I'm the sweet person of the group. Well, actually, Renee too. We have this thing with donuts. For some reason, Renee and I are addicted to donuts.
Everybody's addicted to donuts. Donuts are the new thing.
They're the new cupcake.
I have never grilled a donut.
Any advice for anything you can grill? I mean, I'm thinking obviously fruit and stuff like that, but is there anything that's kind of crazy?
Yes, pound cake, angel food cake, and that thing I was telling you about before, that baguette with the Nutella and stuff. You can grill that. That's ridiculous. Just put it on the grill and just heat it through on the grill. Mm-hmm.
Cronuts.
I don't think you can grill a cronut.
I can, because I'm really starting to get sick of them, so I can just grill them.
You can't be sick of them. Have you ever even had one?
Yeah, we have them in Tampa, Sarah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult Tampa.
Then they've technically jumped the shark, Jeff.
Trust me, I know. That's why I'm already sick of them.
Cronuts have jumped the shark already? No, they've only been around for like a month.
When you pay people $600 to stand in line to get you cronuts, then it maybe jumps the shark.
Do people stand in line in Tampa too?
No. That's just New York City.
It's insane. I haven't had one because I'm not standing in line and then hope maybe getting one and then they get sold out by 9 o'clock. No.
We don't stand in line in Florida because you might get hit by lightning or eaten by a python.
Well, I think I might get hit by lightning when I leave here tonight because the lightning is rolling across the the Hudson River as we speak. I see it coming. It's coming to get me.
So
Good
is there
luck.
anything cool in the next episode? I mean, not the next episode, the next issue, the July issue?
Well, the July issue, I mean, like, we were talking about grilling, so the July issue is all about grilling. I told you about the kebab story. I told you about the amazing chimichurri burger. One of my favorite stories, and it's not so much cool as just straight up delicious, is an in-season story that we did, 3 fresh tomato pastas. One's raw, one's grilled, and one is sauteed. They're all fantastically delicious, really, really easy. And a make-it-your-own potato salad, which is basically a base recipe with a bunch of different variations, like a Mexican variation. In fact, speaking of Caesar salad, we did a Caesar salad potato salad that was pretty fantastic.
Ooh, tell me about that. That sounds right up my alley.
All right, so it's potato salad, regular potato salad, and we use, see, I can't even read my own magazine. We used olive oil instead of mayonnaise, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, well, quite a bit of Parmesan cheese, and then shredded romaine hearts at the very end. So you get like the crunchy, fresh lettuce at the end, but it's got all the flavors of the Caesar salad. It's really ridiculous.
Ooh,
And then there's a Mexican one with chipotle, lime, and corn, which I thought I was going to hate and actually ended up loving.
Why did you think you were going to hate that one?
Because I'm not a huge, I mean, I shouldn't really admit this, but I love spicy food, but I don't love chipotle. I'm not a huge smoke fan. So I have a tendency to be very, very sparing when I use it. And I feel like people have a tendency to use it pretty heavy-handedly because most people love it. So I thought I wasn't going to like it, but I really did. I had a friend come in and develop some recipes for this issue, and he made these, and they were super delish, really good.
Now, how do we get on that? How do we get on your friend list to come in and develop some recipes?
Well, I mean, you just have to come by. Well, you have to be a recipe developer. Yeah. And this particular friend of mine used to work at Gourmet Magazine and left Gourmet when it closed. So I knew he was going to be good. So I guess that. I have to start there. Gourmet employee? No. You know, if you're a really good cook and we need some help and you happen to be around, you could be in contention.
Okay, so how do we become testers?
Well, I mean, the testers, we have right now, we use our testers, the people that test our recipes are our interns. We used to hire outside people, but now we just use our interns or we test each other's recipes. So sadly, It's not something that we really bring people from the outside in to do. We just have the people here test them.
So note to self, become an intern.
Right.
Note to self, any of you are welcome to come and visit and spend a day in the kitchen.
Sarah, are there any writing opportunities or recipe developing opportunities for people who may be watching? We have a lot of food bloggers who tune in every week, and I'm sure they'd love an opportunity to either get a photo or something in your magazine. Any opportunities like that?
Well, I mean, we like to have people share their stuff on our Facebook page and through Instagram and stuff. The magazine, at the level that it is right now, we're not really incorporating. We used to have a My Everyday that we used to put into the magazine. Right now, we're not doing that anymore because it's smaller than it used to be. When they stopped publishing it as a standalone, it's not as big as it used to be. But we're always looking for people to share their passion and their love of cooking and encourage people to do that on our Facebook page.
And on Instagram, you said any particular hashtag or anything that people should use, or even on the Facebook page?
Yeah, I mean, everydayfood_mag is our everyday food Instagram. So when people are tagging us, that's what they should use.
Just so you guys know,
I did try to start my everyday, or EDF at home, but that hasn't really taken off, that hashtag, EDF at home. Tell them to start using that, but only if they're using our recipes, EDF at home.
Just so you guys
I started doing it myself, but
on Google Plus, everyone's talking about cronuts, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Elton Menez says, hey, what time does this live hangout going for? Probably about another 10 minutes, just so you know. Because I couldn't type fast enough. I figure I'll just tell him. It'll be easier that way. You know, from what I went to marthastewart.com yesterday, and then I went to marthastewart.com today, and I noticed a significant change.
Oh, yeah, really? You know, it's funny because I thought that the new website was going to be up last week, but maybe it just happened. Yes, they've redesigned the website. It's a whole new, beautiful, beautiful website. Really gorgeous, much more friendly for pictures and sort of enjoying all the kind of content that we have in a whole new way. The Teal website is gone.
Yeah, the video. I mean, it's like it's almost 100%. I mean, there's content stuff, but video is a huge component. So you're probably, I would think you're like the heartbeat of that.
Well, it's good for that. I mean, people are really, really interested in video. People will come more and more to the website to look for video, as they do across the web. People are so interested in video, and they love seeing things made by people. And so we're trying to give people that are coming to the website for video a really great enhanced experience. And I think that the new website really does that. Our video hub is really beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's great. It reminds me of kind of the YouTube experience now, too, where everything's like in separate channels and you can easily find things. You guys seem to do a really good job. Have you been experimenting with like Instagram video or Vine videos or any of the other tools?
I find Vine to be too short. I downloaded it and I did maybe one Vine and I couldn't get into it. Last week everybody was really excited about the Instagram video, and it is twice as many seconds, but it's still not very many seconds.
No.
I don't know. I feel like there might be some place for it, but I think that it's really challenging to do the kind of stuff that's meaningful. But maybe I just don't know yet. I think 15 seconds is a very, very short amount of time. It's not even like Twitter with 140 characters. It's much less information than that, So I don't know.
You did post a great link, though. You had a link to that person who did the stop-motion video of how to scramble eggs, and they used the little models and everything. That was a great link.
I mean, there's some good stuff, and I think that but it takes so much time to be creative in that format that it really doesn't, it almost negates the whole point, right? I mean, in order to do these really creative things, I think people are taking a really long time to get them done.
For every second, it's like 1 hour of work.
And I love that. That's what I love about like all of this social stuff. I mean, it's something that I'm really only beginning to really get into, I think that it's so fun that the creative sides of people get to come out in that way, and you really get to learn about what people's interests are. My personal Instagram is almost never pictures of food. I take pictures of basically the sidewalk. I call it color of the day, and it's just some kind of abstract picture of color, a lot of which are like from construction in the city, and they put all these like paint markings all over everything, and they're so fascinating. So I love that it gets, most people who aren't food people take pictures of food, and I take pictures of the sidewalk.
I think I take pictures of my dog mostly, and my cats are very sad. My cats are like, "What about me? Do you love me anymore?"
Cats?
The cats are like they just are not. They're not. In fact, I had to mute my camera a few minutes ago. I don't know if you guys saw it, like about half an hour ago, because my cat jumped on something and then got stuck and couldn't get down. It was like half in a trash can, half out, and to the point where you're like, do I sit here and?
Do you not understand the value of viral video?
I know, really. You should have left that on.
Turn the camera to the cat and shut up. My goodness, that is comedy gold.
Exactly.
Well, you guys were saying some like really interesting stuff. We just got a couple questions from Google Plus. Christina P wants to know, Sarah, why the red potatoes are used. This is kind of a shifting gears, but I want to make sure before we end the show, why the red potatoes are used with the skins on in a recipe.
Some people like the skins. They have a lot of nutritional value, I mean, relative to a potato, and people like them and they like the texture, but any recipe that calls for skin on potatoes, if you don't like the skins, you can take them off and the recipes will still work most of the time. I mean, for roasting, I wouldn't take them off necessarily, but in a boiled potato thing like a potato salad or something like that, mashed potatoes, either way is fine.
So, Jeff, before we close out for the evening, do you have any burning, dying grill questions since you're the grill master?
Well, that's a lot of pressure, I got to tell you. Do you have a preference? I know it's the classic question, but do you have a preference, grill over charcoal? Because I just bought a new grill, and I have one of those half and half kind of things.
What do you mean half and half? It's gas and charcoal?
It has gas on one side and charcoal on the other.
I've heard of those.
And I'm a diehard smoker, so I like doing it, the low and slow stuff as well. But do you have any tips for charcoal? Because I've been cooking on gas for so long, I haven't cooked on charcoal. Do you have any charcoal tips?
Well, I think that it's one of those things that you really need to get a feel for. I do have a preference for charcoal because I think that the flavor is better, but it's messy and it's much more time consuming. So I understand why most people use gas. My parents have a gas grill up at their house, and I always want a charcoal, but like it's a pain in the butt, but it's so delicious. And I say, you need to get a feel for it. And I think that one of the things that people don't do is wait for the coals to burn down. The temperature's not exactly right because they don't wait for it to all turn to ash or they have too much. And then you just gradually add a couple of pieces of charcoal every half an hour just to keep it at a constant temperature.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a grilling expert, but that's what I would say when it comes to charcoal grills.
Sure.
You just have to sort of, it requires a little bit of babying, quite honestly. You have to, it's going to be a labor of love,
I'm kind of refining my technique because those charcoal chimneys are great. I've started using those,
best.
which are awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm now such a freak about grilling that the other day I was grilling in a downpour. I'm like holding the umbrella over the grill and everything like that because it just makes your food taste awesome. And it doesn't matter what you're cooking, whether it's gas or charcoal.
It's true, and you get a kind of a level of heat that most home stoves don't have. So you get like this kind of char that you really cannot get any other way.
Yeah.
And I do love it. But I really don't get to do it that much because I live in New York City and I don't have a yard. So the grilling that I do when I do it on the show is all on a grill pan on top of the stove, which is kind of lame. But it's what I have the access to. And then when I grill, I do it at home, and I grill a lot at my parents' house.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by home.
Yeah.
My ex-home.
My former commune home.
My former commune home, now just my parents' house in Woodstock, New York.
So your parents are still on the property?
Yeah, they do. They live there, but they live there alone now. So they have this big, huge, like basically falling apart house that they live in that was, used to be home to be 20 people, and it's now just the two of them.
Sarah, we need to do the next Tech Munch at your parents' house.
Oh my God, no.
Tech Munch Commune, New York City. Tech Munch Woodstock.
Totally.
I'm flying there for that.
They do have Wi-Fi. Do you think that's techy enough?
It's very important. That's very important. I don't know if they can handle 100 people, but we could do like the next Woodstock, where it's basically like all the foodies of America, and we could do a little documentary where it's like everyone's like, doing tastings and almost the
totally
opposite
maybe not
of Woodstock.
At my parents' house. Yeah.
We're bringing you brie and toast points for 100,000 this morning.
Or the guy who used to make the announcements where he was like, I just want to let everyone know if you're looking for your friend. You know who I'm talking about in the documentary? We can have like somebody like that. We need to have like Jeff, you can do that.
Oh, thanks.
I think Jeff can do it for sure.
He was a really attractive guy, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
We're the cute version.
Instead of having bands, we'll actually have like cooking demonstrations. That would be hysterical. Tech Munch Woodstock.
I'm for it. I'm totally for it. You organize it, I will be there.
I'll bring the mud. How about that?
I'll bring the mud. Well, guys, it's time. It's time for another close of Kitchen Party. Next week is the 4th of July, and we do not have a show. I just want to let you guys know. So next Thursday, you are free to party. But if you take pictures on the grill or barbecue or whatever you're outdoor cooking, come back to the event page on Google Plus and post your pictures, because then we can all, everyone who's interested in this topic, we can all see. Another quick thing on Twitter, just want to say Miguel Bensi liked our YouTube video, which is cool. I think he's new, which is very cool. And all the folks who are also Rhonda's Cooking also chimed in. I'm trying to go through some of these tweets. Gray-haired lady, I'm stuffed. I will go through these. I just want to make sure with Google Plus as well. Make sure we don't have any questions. Everyone's still talking about the cronuts. And then Tamara DiCaprio is a new person also. I think I invented the cronuts once years ago during a drunken college night and forgot to write it down. Sure.
Because she was making croissant on a drunken college night.
I just open the Nutella and I just start eating, and I'll take the croissant and the donut and I'll just smush them together and
then put it in the deep fryer.
I want to throw out a suggestion. If anybody takes Sarah up on some of her recipes, either if they hopefully get the magazine and do something from the kebab guide or her Nutella marshmallow thing, make sure you post that and use the hashtag for Kitchen Party and also Everyday Food so we can all see what you did with it.
We want to.
And also the chimichurri burger. That's what I'm going to make. The chimichurri.
The chimichurri burger. So delicious, you guys.
I'm just gonna go get the Nutella and just get a spoon.
You just want the Nutella.
I just don't want to do any dishes. That's like my new thing now. I'm like, how do I eat without making one dish?
No. No, don't say that. Just watch as you go along and it'll be fine. That's my key. That's what I always do.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I was, coming from a commune. I would think I need like 20 people behind me to help with the cleaning.
No,
I am by myself. Nobody else does my dishes, and it's very sad.
Nobody does. Well, I mean, I mostly do my own dishes, mostly. But I try to make the kids do it. They're not very good at washing dishes, though, so you always have to go back and rewash them. But you got to teach them somehow.
I was going to ask you before we get off. Your kids, you said that you make them dinner. What's like a typical dinner that you make your kids?
Let's see. What did I make yesterday? Yesterday I made pasta with garlic oil and kale. Like, that was it. Garlic oil and kale. Oh, and I sauteed some chicken breast. That was my daughter's idea. She's like, why don't you make the garlic and oil like at Tiso's, which is the local Indian Italian restaurant up by my parents' house. And then I just did that. Oh, she wanted it with kale, which I thought was kind of crazy. So I did it because she requested it, and it was kale, and I love kale. And then I just sauteed some chicken breast. I mean, it's not super exciting. Sometimes it's a little more elaborate than that, but it's usually something simple. I always make sure there's a vegetable. I make tacos a lot. I make different kinds of pasta. I make grains and quinoa and brown rice. I mean, I try to keep it relatively healthy, but it's not super elaborate.
Well, it sounds delicious.
Yeah,
I'm starving. I want a cronut, some kale, some Nutella, and a cocktail. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Wait a second. Before we go, I want to know where we can find Sarah on her Instagram. I want to go see all those colors.
Oh, it's Sarah Carey.
We can find you. Okay.
Sarah Carey 1 is my Instagram name.
Is the other Sarah Carey? Is that the English? Or
probably it's the Irish folk singer. I actually don't know, but it's SARAHCAREY 1.
The number 1 is for the original. That's what that means.
That's right. Well, no, it's the best.
Absolutely.
It's the best Sarah of all the Sarah Careys out there.
Well, we need to get you on Twitter too, Sarah.
Oh, yeah. I am on Twitter, but I'm not a really good Twitterer. I'm not. I have a Twitter account, and if you go on my Twitter account, you'll see I'm like... Oh, it's terrible. I have like 10 tweets, and I've been on for like 3 years.
What's your Twitter handle?
You know what? I don't even know.
What I really enjoy? Someone with a fantastic culinary career in publishing, and I brought her to her knees by her admission of 10 tweets.
Well, you'll have to tweet us at Kitchen Party, and we'll all follow you. Any other platforms Any other platforms we should follow you in Everyday Food?
Well, Everyday Food has a Twitter account, and we tweet on there. That's Everyday Food. And Everyday Food _mag is the Instagram for Everyday Food. So I tweet. I actually Instagram and tweet on the Everyday Food account as well. So some tweeting does happen through the Everyday Food account. So you can follow us there. Those are great places to see what's going on from my food life. Want to see my color life? Follow me on Sarah Carey 1.
I'm definitely going to follow you on Instagram immediately as soon as the show is over. Awesome, guys. All right, well, we will see you July 11th. We have a chef who's going to be on, Chef Cass, who's going to be talking about, Renee, you're going to love this. It's eating for performance. It's not about diet. It's about sustaining and performance in terms of, like, keeping you filled, keeping you, optimizing your...
I thought performance art.
Performance. That's what I think that too. Exactly.
I was thinking it was like Shakespeare Cronuts or something,
No, I met him in Vegas. He was really sweet, and he does recipe development, and also he's a chef. He makes people's foods, like delivers it to their homes, and is like a professional menu creator man. I don't know what you want to call him, but
his own diet, but personalized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And it's not about diet, and it's not about trying to lose weight. It's about optimal performance. Like, what should you eat to keep you going through extended periods of, and like your brain, how does your brain work? So we'll see. I don't know where that's going to go, but it should be very interesting.
That's going to be great.
And then we have, if anyone wants to know the schedule, go to BakeSpaceTV.com. There's the full schedule. We have a whole bunch of other shows that are coming up. And that's it. Follow us on Twitter, BakeSpace. Renee and Jeff, any last words?
Sarah, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. It was great
Thanks, Sarah.
fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Melody, cue.
Start the dancing!
I think she's muted and she doesn't realize she's muted, so we have no music.
Should somebody sing? Can somebody sing?
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
This is our food porn music.
Chicka wow wow!